give me something, please leave nothing out. Tell me a story from your. Make me a good guy, not a woulda, shoulda, could guy. Make me a story from your mouth. Make me a villain now, won't that just be thrilling? No, make me a story from your. Make me.
So, you popped into my mind first thing this morning in our conversation yesterday, and we were going back and forth and going back and forth about what you were saying. And the first thing that popped in is real and unreal. It's real and unreal. That's I just woke up this morning and I just thought it's real and unreal. That's what I was trying to. That's what we're talking about. So this is and isn't this. There's no this, but this is it's just a word. But you know, purple walls and Vietnaming and air conditioning and chairing and talking is and isn't, right? That's what we're exploring all week. The sense that you are an individual is the is. So you're what you are, what you when you feel, when there's a feeling of being separate, there's a sense of a subject object reality, and there's is. You're living in the real, and you're seeing things, people, chairs, objects to your subject. So everything, there's a solidity to everything, there's a realness to everything, and you can't, the unreal cannot be seen. So that's what when I say there's a kind of, it's kind of a half alive thing, feeling like an individual. It's like a half alive sense of when you have a life and you feel that you're living your life. There's a question, and the question is from that sense of half alive. What is it that I'm missing? What is it that I'm missing? What is it? I just can't seem to put my finger on it. So then we search in all these different ways unique to this body, mind, and we try and have experiences. We try and find states. We try and bring about things, whatever, thinking that there's something that I can find that will address this sense that there's something missing. And it's the reverse of all of that. That it's not something that's being looked for, it's no thing. So this whole week is about loss and apparent loss, because real and unreal, everything, nothing, everything is nothing, and nothing is everything. So it is and it isn't. So if it's real and unreal, it's totally beyond understanding. You cannot understand it. You cannot get it. Because the mind works in it's either real or it's unreal in this kind of play of opposites. There you go. Used to wholeness, that's usually a thing. So we don't have to be up and down now. Yeah. Well, JP found the man for the job. He's got his go-to guy. Yeah. I'll have a whole new system anyway after this. This is very anyway, it doesn't matter. Then I'll be there. Then I'll be there. Then I'll be there when I have the sound. Yeah, if so, you have to have somewhere to strive towards. Then I'll be there. So there's two guys at a football game, you know. There's an older guy and a younger guy, and there's a seat between the two of them that's empty. So the younger guy goes to the older guy, "Geez, this is such a big game. How is there an empty seat? This is crazy." So the older guy goes, "That's my wife's seat. She died." And the younger guy goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss." And there's a pause. And then the younger guy goes, but it's such a big game. Could you not have given it to one of your family or relatives? Oh no, they're all at the funeral. Yeah. It's from an ad for it was an ad, an old Italian ad about passion for football. I just got to top laugh.
We were talking earlier. Well, I overheard you talking earlier about like diet and how it can improve your health, improve your sleep and stuff like that. But in this context, it means nothing, yeah?
Nothing, it means nothing at all. I don't talk about.
Yeah.
I like conversation.
Yeah.
And I enjoy just talking basically. And so there's loads of interests here that have nothing to do with this communication. You know, I could talk about sports, I could talk about music, I could talk about health, I could talk about geopolitics,
Yeah.
and there's no relevance to this at all. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't come. The only time something will come up here would be in some way kind of illuminating what I'm saying. So you feeling healthy or you feeling unhealthy is irrelevant. This is about the sense of a you that feels unhealthy or healthy. Do you understand?
Yeah,
I mean, so like if feeling healthy was relevant, how could it be like, then that would mean that it would be about somebody who then actually maybe does have a life. And maybe if they feel healthier, they're more likely to see something or not see something or whatever. Do you see what I mean? So it's totally irrelevant. Completely, totally irrelevant.
That's great news.
And actually, it's just that it came up in conversation. I'm actually really reluctant, and I think you heard me say that.
Yeah.
I'm so reluctant to say anything, even when I say, I do not care what you eat. I really do not care. I say something. Everyone, oh, so what do you mean? What does you know what I mean? What does that? And it's like because that's the way it is, and that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So usually I prefer not to say anything because I don't give a shit with anybody if someone exercises or they don't exercise or they eat or they don't eat.
Different stages of your life, you've been totally teetotal, and then other times of your life you've been a bit of a lad, or whatever.
Yeah. It's not relevant. It's not relevant. Oh, you poor man.
Yeah, you better.
That's what's wrong with you. I think that's one of the saddest things I've heard in a long time. What?
So it's all totally irrelevant, like we're talking about sex there and like whether you're celibate or whether you're a player, whatever, one extreme to the other.
It's all a play of light. It's all a play of light, yeah. Because there's nobody doing it. There's nobody there that's doing one or doing the other. So that's if you want to go with that example, right? So there would be a sense then that there's somebody who is then, in this case, not doing something. In other words, being celibate, right? Yeah. So therefore, they are imbuing that with meaning.
Yeah.
And but if you go to the root of that, the very, very root of that is the sense that they have a life. So if they have a life, then they are either doing something or not doing something and putting weight on doing something or putting weight on not doing something. Yeah. So how could it be? And actually, with those kinds of things, the more the people who repress natural desires and stuff become obsessed with them, actually, because they're just normal. They don't mean anything. They're just normal bodily functioning things. They don't have any meaning. But the more you push back, the more it
can get perverted.
Yeah, of course. Like the more prominent it is,
Yeah.
Funny enough.
They apparently in the Vatican they have a priest every year that comes in to check the ancient writings whether they were transcribed correctly letter for letter. And this priest came running out. He'd been in there for 4 years screaming and crying. And he said, it was one letter. It was celebrate.
Oh, yeah. 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 I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, isn't it, though? I mean, like when I was good old Catholic Ireland, and I'm just at that age when I can remember the fucking nonsense, of someone saying something on his talk show and the outrage and the letters being written in and this is disgraceful. And you know, we had a show called Mailbox. You remember Mailbox? Was it Mailbox where they wrote in the letters about current affairs and they'd fucking have a right whinge? You don't remember that? No. Yeah, but anyway, so I mean, the ones like that's the way it is. Like the ones who are writing in complaining about the sex on TV are the ones fucking obsessed with the sex on TV because they've made a thing about it being a bad thing, and the more you push it down, the more it's like there's a few people talking about this now. The more you kind of push it away, the more you come around into it because it's not too, of course. And then you can see that in some of the more progressive ideologies today. The more they're kind of raging against something, the more they become kind of the thing they're raging against. It's fucking hilarious. And they don't see it, of course. The whole thing repressed. Yeah, because like I mean, it's fundamentally a sense that like if you fundamentally try to push down, get rid of all the bad, you know. So you have a concept that life should be only good, and there should be only pleasure, and your rage against pushing all that back, the more you eat that then, because it's not too, it's impossible. It's impossible. Yeah. I mean, that's like that's what we had been saying this morning as well. It's like this, if you think of the individual, it's kind of like this half alive thing where you're thinking that the clarity is it, the confusion isn't, the comfort is it, the pain isn't, blah blah blah. I could go on and on and on. So you're kind of, there's this agitation then of, oh, that's not trying to fix. You're kind of tinkering with everything constantly. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, but it could be a bit better. We'll just have a little bit of less of that now and a bit more of this. And then if you look at the Western society as a cohort of people who are the most medicated we've ever seen because they don't want to feel sad. And then they go to the doctor and say, I'm fucking depressed. And the doctor said, I mean, this is a bit dated in that it's obviously not the solution and everyone knows it's not the solution, but so, well, there's a pill for that. And then you go and they say, oh, I don't feel sad anymore. It's great. And then 6 months later, they go back and say, well, I don't fucking feel anything. Oh, you don't feel anything. Shock. That's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. You don't feel anything. Of course you don't feel anything. Of course you don't feel anything. And then we're the most numbed cohort of people because we think, oh, we can have all of this and we can just just let's not be having this stuff. Don't like this stuff. So, you know. The diagnostic, yeah, DSMB. Is it 5 at this stage? Yeah,
It's
probably.
5.
We're up to 5,
And
yeah.
at no time does it say there's nobody there. It just says there's somebody there. You're out of the bell curve, and here's a label, and here's the medication or therapy to get you back in the bell curve.
Yeah.
They won't listen to the possibility that there's nobody there.
Yeah, I mean, there is kind of a movement against it now, for sure. I was speaking to someone recently who's works in that area, and there's kind of more of a movement to say that, like, these labels are only, the only value of any label is to what resources it might get you, and actually they're actually a hindrance. So I guess there's two things appearing to go on, but it's the history of the DSMV, MV, 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 MV,
Kenneth, Kenneth,
scrolling the date because I wanted to find the end. Where does it end? it doesn't fucking end, right? There's no end to the date, like calendar on the iPhone. And then I went back, it doesn't end, right? And I'm thinking, how the fuck is that even possible, right? Like, how is that, like, because the mind wants some timeline continuum of like, this is where it begins and this is where it ends, and it doesn't fucking end on the iPhone. I just thought that was interesting. It just popped into my mind because it's like for me, it's like this kind of in this linear timeline reality that I apparently experience in, there is an actual evidence that it doesn't fucking end, right? Like it just goes on. Am I making any sense? I just find it quite comical.
Who had the authority to reset it to 0 2024 years ago?
Well, it doesn't end on the phone.
Well, I know. Who set it to 0?
I don't.
24 years ago. I'm just saying this is the joke of time.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's a big joke.
Yeah. I mean, like trying to get your head around eternity, it's impossible. Like, I mean, it's like, and that's in a sense, that's as an individual, you're trying to use time to discover eternity. You know what I mean? In a sense, logically in your mind, you think that like I can use for instance, like if I meditate for an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, then the sense it could be that I'll fall away and there'll just be eternity. But there is no fucking hour in the morning or hour in the evening. Do you know? So that's the futility of trying to grasp something in that model, in that interface that we're in, which is time and space. It's impossible. Because this is eternity. Or this is this is everything. It's infinity. It's the same thing. Trying to use space to, you know. And it's totally ungraspable. If you can grasp it, or you think you can understand it, then that's a grasping that's in time. It's a concept that has to be in time. Yeah. I mean, that's it. Yeah. Or like as Alan Watts beautifully puts it, like show me an inch, and the person says, "Oh, here's a measuring tape." There's no. I didn't ask for a fucking measuring tape. I didn't ask to see a measuring tape. I know what a measuring tape looks like. I said, show me an inch. You won't be able to show me an inch. And it's the same thing. It's the same as the time. Like show me time. Time is a clock ticking on a wall. But then when you feel real, it's not just a clock ticking on a wall. There's a really lived sense of time. And that's from the lived sense of you, that you're solid and real in there.
We measure in an inch. We measure in space.
Yeah, so like
what?
Yeah,
this is a little inch of space. Like if I got a tape measure now, it's like space, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
yeah. It's like what?
Yeah, yeah, and it's a function. So, you know, like just as time is a function, so you could say like a carpenter needs to measure an inch or
measure a more solid density than
or the functionality of saying let's meet in this room at 5:30. Do you know what I mean? In the story, the function of in the interface of saying 5:30 GMT +7. So people appear to jump online and people blah, blah, blah. But then when you feel real, then it feels, that's what I mean. It's everything is, you're like living in the real then. So then it's not a story, it's real then, because 5:30 is real. And I'm really here. And this is really happening. You see? So that it's possible for that realness to just collapse. And then there's just life appearing as 5:30. And it's just, but there's obviously nothing there. You get a sense of what I'm saying? Not really.
You know what? When I look at you, my daughter's got a couple of cats. And when I look at the cats, they almost seem like invisible. Like the eyes are just like there's nothing there, you know. And yeah. But,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the whole thing is energetic anyway. This whole conversation is just energetic. It doesn't matter.
Like, and when I look at the cats as well, you can just play with them. But you know,
yeah.
Oh, the cat isn't thinking about what you just said or anything like that. It's just like moving on to the next place.
Yeah, for sure. Like when you see animals, there's and people would say then like, oh, animals live in the moment, but they don't live in the moment because there's no moment for them to live in, and it's just they don't feel that they have a life because they're not. There's not an abstraction or a sense of being separate. There's just whatever they're being to. And yeah, for sure, like that's one of the reasons we like being around them. And yeah.
They don't, you know, you can just play with them and there's no there's nothing held on to.
No. There's just the character as well. In the same way that there's a character of like there's a flavor to everyone here. Yeah. But that doesn't mean there's an individual. Because everyone is totally and utterly, just like you meet a dog, if you're a dog lover, every dog you meet will be different.
Yeah.
They'll have a certain, and cats is, you know, talk to people about cats. I'm not really a cat guy, but, you know, people who love cats really go, oh my God. And that's the way it is. Everyone is completely unique and totally the way they are because you are wholeness as this unique cluster of whatever. And it's like a flavor to everyone, you know. And then what appears to happen then is, so then there's this contraction, apparent contraction, cellular contraction, in which that character then is kind of dampened down, you know. So as a child, it's kind of whoa, and you are the way you are, or whatever. And then you appear to grow up more and more into a sense of how you should be. And you get scolded for being this, and you get scolded for this, and you get, you know, and then, oh no, I shouldn't say that in this situation, and I shouldn't be. And then another thing appears to happen is, what do they think of me now? So then I have to comport myself in a manner in which they will think better of me. So what the individual you could say is like a dampener. It's like a dampener over the character. And for some people, that dampener is very, very severe. And energetically, you feel it straight away. You feel energetically straight away that you're meeting someone who's playing a role. Yeah. Oh no, totally. It wouldn't be aware, but they're playing a role because they're continually thinking about what you think of them. And it feels very it feels very, there's a particular feeling to it. It's a kind of it's like a constriction. Yeah. And it's a game, you see. It's a game that they think they're playing. And what they don't realize is nobody gives a fuck. You know, because everyone's thinking about themselves. Nobody gives a fuck. Everyone's thinking about themselves. It wasn't a Nancy Reagan that said if you realized how seldom people give a fuck about you, you wouldn't give a fuck about what they think about you. I think she worded it slightly different, but in essence, it's if you realized that nobody is they're thinking about themselves in relation to, you're a character, you're a fucking character in their story. That's all you are.
Yeah, but when that's noticed, starts here.
Yeah.
It's also said when this message is said clearly, they actually know it already. You see all those.
No, everyone knows it. Everyone is already whole and complete, and everyone knows that they're playing a story, or that everyone knows that it's a story, but they feel lost in the story. So,
You're nuancing it, which is good. You think they already know, but
so
not consciously.
what I was saying, as we were talking about this morning, yeah, I mean, all right, we come to the conscious thing or unconscious thing, but everyone is energy. They are wholeness appearing as this body. And everyone is that already, completely, totally, and utterly.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, there's nobody sitting in this room. There's life peopling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the bodies in this room completely know what's being talked about, totally and utterly, because that's what they are, because that's all there is. Overlaying that, then, like an overlay, is the game of being an individual, which is then like a false addition or a confusion, and that's from that, then there's confusion and wondering what it is I'm looking for and blah, blah, blah. And that just plays out like it does. So conscious or unconscious, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, or aware. When I avoid, like, when being aware of something, being the forefront of your mind, or being not, it's just all part of it. Doesn't really matter. Like, being aware that you are not a separate individual makes no difference, because it's not about knowing.
So the person that is in such suffering, they suicide, doesn't matter.
There's just what appears to happen. So if that's what's appearing to happen, that's aliveness as that situation.
But they know
there's nobody in there.
They know they're playing a game. This is the linguistics which you use. So perhaps we need to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
No, not enough. Sorry.
No. What are you saying? Sorry. What do you mean?
No.
So there's aliveness.
No.
Okay.
No, look, you're with somebody.
Yeah.
They are deep suffering.
Yeah.
They deal with this notion of ending.
Yeah.
And in the face of that, this has been said, they already know they're whole and complete. We then try to deal with whether they're conscious or unconscious of that. And then this suffering is just what's happening, and they horrifically end. And that's just what's happening. And that's enough. Next question. That's what it felt like.
Okay. Okay.
It just felt like no. It felt like an external criticism of non-duality might be, really? And that's fair to say. It's just saying. It's not a challenge.
So when you're talking about someone who's suicidal or something like that,
yeah,
for me, it feels like automatically you would want to comfort them and help them in any way. And that's just what's happening.
So it's appearing to happen, yeah.
And so it's not a denial of that. You would do.
There is nobody.
There is no.
So there's nobody.
But it just happens, doesn't it? You can't say there's no to the person. Oh, there's nobody. So just what's happening, and that's the way it is. And yeah, they may end up killing themselves.
Nobody's ever killed themselves.
Yeah.
But it's suicide appears to happen. It's just what's appearing to happen. There's nobody living their life. So then all of this is all of that is a play of light then. And if someone that you love appears to be suffering, wanting them not to suffer appears to happen. There is no body ever. There's no individual ever. So nobody has been born, nobody has lived their life, and nobody has died. So nobody has taken their life. How could you take your life? In the story, it would appear that way then.
You want the mic? It's just such
very
a
simple.
massive, but it's a massive heartbreak as well, you know, to think
Life
somebody
is absolutely
has
devastatingly
ended the
heartbreaking.
body.
Yeah, it is absolutely boundlessly
It's
sad.
devastation.
Absolutely.
That, you know, when somebody is suffering so much, it can feel like such a relief to kill the body.
Yeah, but nobody's ever done that. But that's appeared to happen. Yeah. Yeah. Life is everything. Everything is nothing. Nothing is everything. Aliveness is boundlessly joyous and boundlessly sad. And there is nobody. This is the invitation. It's just, that's the invitation.
There's such a pendulum, isn't it, of stuff, you know, like sadness and happiness, and there feels like there's such a pendulum of full-on stuff.
Yeah, but like nobody.
It's without sadness. It would just be happiness. So we need the sadness to experience the happiness.
Nobody has ever been born. Nobody has a life and nobody dies. There's nobody in this room. There's aliveness peopling.
But apparently there appears to be the death of the body.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
the birth of babies.
But you are not like, so the aliveness appears as this cluster of cells, right? That then in that cluster of cells that appears to grow, there's a lived sense of it being an entity called a me, an individual, who then feels that they have a life and then feels that they're living their life. And therefore, I was born, I'm living my life, and I will die, right? And that is a dualistic dream. Nobody's ever died because nobody's ever been born. But in the appearance, of course, it's real and unreal. So you can see that a body is born. But the thing is, if you feel separate, you will feel that there is an actual person there that is, you won't just see aliveness bodying, you will see a individual who has a life, who is living their life, and then can lose their life. So they can lose their life by suicide, by accident, by illness, by whatever. And then when the body stops functioning, you then say that person has died. So that's logical, it's linear, it's understandable, and it's a lived reality for people. Another possibility is to see that actually there is no body, there's just aliveness, energy, an energy body. So nobody's ever, you were,
me.
yeah.
You know, drop dead now, and there appears to be no energy coming from this body.
So there's nobody there holding that microphone. There's just aliveness, body and holding the microphone. And that body will function until it stops functioning. And then when it doesn't function, and that sense of being a separate entity, an individual, will just not be there anymore. And it will be very clear to nobody that nobody dies. That can happen. That can appear to happen. before physical death or are at physical death, one or the other. Nobody dies. Nobody there. You see, if you're seeing it that way, then you're in a dualistic dream in which there are individuals, they do have a life, they were born and they will die. So that's the dream. That's the dream then that's the dualistic dream that we're discussing all week long. Nobody's ever been born or lived their life. It's very simple.
It was funny actually, years ago, I remember my granddad dying, and on the same day, a baby had been born.
Yeah.
And like you had this like emotion of sadness, my granddad dying, and
Yeah.
joy of a birth.
Yeah, because like again, we were talking a bit when we met first about this whole area and palliative care and stuff, and it's it can energetically be sensed that there's nothing to be afraid of. There's absolutely fucking nothing to be afraid of because nothing happens.
Yeah.
There's no the death is an appearance. Death is an appearance. That's what's it's an appearance. Birth is an appearance. You living your life is an appearance. You losing your life is an appearance. It's an appearance. So it's like we've been saying, real and unreal. It's real in its appearance, but it's an appearance. Just an appearance. This is not two. This is not two. Like there's only a thing called life and a thing called death. Two, life and death, from the lived sense of being a separate self. Life and death. Not everything and nothing. Dualism, good, bad, special, not special. It's a dream.
And then what was coming up then in my mind was like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Really, it's like,
Who cares now? What do you mean? Who cares?
Life and death.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the me cares.
The me cares, yeah.
Yeah, because this is I did say this is very confronting to the me, because the me is that the individual is the dualistic dream of life, death, and feels, well, I'm alive. What do you mean? What do you mean nobody? What do you mean nobody dies? I could list you 20 people that died. I was there when they died. What are you talking about? You're talking fucking rubbish. So the suggestion is, yeah, you were. They appeared to die, but what you never see a sense of being separate is a dualistic dream in which nothing is seen as it actually is, because you're seeing objects called people, and you're seeing chairs and things. Everything is solid and real and separate, and it's an illusion, or it's a dream, or whatever you want to call it. So you never see anything as it actually is anyway.
Like the story is fucking beautiful.
Of course it is, yeah.
Like all of it, like the tragedy. It's a fucking massive love story. Like it's a love story of biblical proportions. Like all of the pain, all of the fucking bullshit, blah 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 blah. It's just
because it's aliveness as this stunning story. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Like I think, like you talk about your grandfather dying, like I hear that and I go, oh, like that's the love, to love someone and then they die, like in the story. Like it's beautiful. That's just how I experience it.
I was just like comparing that feeling of my granddad dying to somebody being born as well.
Yeah.
On the same day.
Maybe Maybe it was just in and out. But that, thanks.
That whole story about reincarnation, isn't it? You know, like you're just hanging on to, oh yeah, I'm gonna go on. Gonna go on, like when I die, I'm gonna like teleport to another dimension where it's gonna be even better.
Yeah, it's a continuation of me.
Yeah.
See, so the story is that I have a life. So then what we like to do is think of stories for after I die. Peter Pan, Never Neverland, Heaven, reincarnation. Have you to pick whatever you pick your flavor. Whatever you, it doesn't matter. It's just a story. And it feels like, oh, without that, it's so confronting.
I think I was telling you about that vision I had when my friend died. And it's just like I saw something in a dream, like in a wakeful dream, but ultimately have no idea what's going on. Just don't
Oh
know.
yeah. No, of course. No.
You know,
No.
maybe the ghost.
Yeah, but if you try and kind of, if you consider that all there is energy, yeah, and all your friend is energy, aliveness as your friend, then all of those things don't seem so strange anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's when you try and pin it down and make interweave, like extract kind of meaning and significance out of it, the whole thing can start. But of course, so what? You know, like there's been that, like here, there's people have apparently died, and in the dream they've said to me something, and I don't find that strange then, because it's very obvious that nobody died really, you know, and the dream is also just energy anyway. You know, you can see it differently. Then it doesn't have to be this solid real person who is then in my dream saying this to me, and this means this, and you know, so it does, you know, if you just see it, if there's just energy, there's just aliveness, and there's this person I love appeared to die, then yeah, so what? They tend to then something appeared in the dream and blah blah blah. I mean, it's very common stuff. Or someone that you love dearly says to you, it's okay, you know, in the dream, and they give you a hug and say, it's okay. And they go, fuck, that's amazing. And they wake up in the morning and go, that was fucking, I really felt like I hugged my dad or my whoever. And it feels so real. You say, yeah, because there's just energy. So energy can also say, you know, it's okay. Don't worry. There's nothing to worry about. There is fucking nobody. There's no death. There's nothing to worry about. We're, as an individual, you're in this continual sense of agitation and worry about what could happen and might happen, blah, blah, blah. And all there is unconditional love, just all embracing. So you continue to wonder and worry until you don't anymore. You know?
And that thing of, I don't know if you've ever had it, but that thing of waking up thinking, oh, that was a fucking amazing dream. There was the truth in that or the whatever. And you just can't even, it's gone. You can't, I don't know, has anyone had that? But you just cannot recall the dream unless you recall it immediately upon awakening.
Yeah, the way I feel is that really it's really the individual who wants to hold on to insights, and that really is about you knowing. So because you feel that life is knowable, and you feel like this entity, this separate individual, and you know, like knowing life and knowing yourself, it's all the same thing. So then you feel like insights like that, oh God, I need to kind of write that down and hold on to it. And it feels quite painful actually sometimes when stuff you can't hold on, you know, you really desperately want to hold on to it. But unconditional love is it slipping through your fingers, is the song that's telling you that there's nothing to hold on to, because it's unknowable. It's unknowable. But it's totally unknowable. So it can't actually be, if it could be held on to, another way of putting what I'm saying is, if it could be held on to, then it is knowable then. And then you could hold on to it. Yeah. So that sense of like that is something is glimpsed and there, and it just, but it's gorgeous that it just slips away because it's
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's, oh, I want to grab it and I can't.
Yeah.
And then when you finally kind of go, God, the abyss of nothingness of I can't hold on to anything is actually the fun. Well, it's a moment of fun, but it could be called terror. That inability to remember the life you just thought you had is what I meant by bringing that up. And also, what's that? In the beginning was the word, which is such a fantastic thing where energy then splits, and here we are, and we've got everything through language, which is dualistic. And so the whole beginning of that book is just like, that was kind of almost the beginning of this disaster. Anyway, that's what I think. Yeah.
I'm just thinking like it's almost like this feeling of responsibility and like is all completely gone. Totally.
So the sense of responsibility is directly from the sense that you have a life. So when you feel that you have a life, you feel, so think about it, right? We're all told that we have a life. Yeah. And that's confirmed. You have a life. Everyone has a life. You have a life. I have a life. So there's a lived feeling then that you do have a life. And from that then is a sense of responsibility about my behavior, because I'm in control of my behavior, right? So the whole thing is based around and built upon the sense that you, the individual, have a life. And then that will be different for everyone, and there'll be a greater sense of responsibility or a lesser responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And the freedom that's yearned for is already the case. How the fuck do you have a life? How does anybody have a life? It is absolutely ridiculous. It's impossible. There is no separate individual who has a life. It's ridiculous. It's a story. So then there's just, when that sense energetically isn't there anymore, there's just aliveness. So there's just whatever's going to happen. That's all there is. And that's all there is for anybody, except then when they talk, they then report that, oh yeah, I feel responsible. Okay, yeah, well, whatever. If you want to keep telling yourself that story, then whatever, I don't care. You've never done anything. You've never done anything, ever. There's no you that's done anything. You're being done.
We know there's all this, whatever it might be, wherever we are, this appearance. We don't think we're doing that. We don't think we're doing the wall or the door or the plant or you, whatever.
Oh, it's very much a sense. It's very much a localized sense. So feeling like an individual is an energy, right? It's an energetic, contracted, cellular, lived reality in which I really feel like I'm in the body here. So if I'm in the body, then I'm looking out on what I call the world. The world is populated with other individuals. They have a life and I have a life. And that is absolutely real for the one who feels it's absolutely real. So then, and that's what's been illuminated all week long, is this suggestion that actually it's real in its appearance. There is nobody who has a life. You don't have a life. There's no other that has a life. And all there is energy. Energy, lights and walls and fans and chairs and computers and microphones and
thoughts and feelings
and everything.
And moving.
Appearing to move. All there is energy. All there is energy. But the sense of feeling that you're real and you have a life it really does feel, absolutely real. It feels that they're your thoughts. It feels like they're your emotions. It feels like they're your memories of you having done something. It feels like they're your memories of someone having done something to you. It really feels that you're living your life. It really does. It really feels real. And it does. And for most people, they don't even consider what's being said here. And so what I'm saying is there never, ever is a real individual there, ever. But when it feels real, it feels real. That's, like, I don't have a goal or an agenda to pull anyone out of that because I can't see anybody in it. Do you see what I'm saying? Because already there's just aliveness, wholeness, and then wholeness can play a game of feeling separate. But that sense of separateness is untouchable. It is not touchable by anybody. Anyone who thinks that
hopeless, it's nothing you can
no,
do.
but anyone who says to you that they can somehow in any way make you not feel separate is talking utter shit, because it's impossible. It's impossible. How could I say anything that I could then feel could bring about that there would be no sense of separation?
There'd have to be someone here,
exactly,
here to do that.
Exactly. Who would I even be talking to? So then what? There's just aliveness, and then when people talk, they say, "Oh, that's why." Me and JP were talking recently, and JP was asking about a mutual friend, and we're just about do they feel separate anymore? And it was funny because I was saying, how the fuck would I know? In a sense that, like, it makes no difference to me. Like, if a friend says to me, they feel separate, and then the next day they say, Kenneth, I don't feel separate anymore. I go, all right. Okay. Of course. Because all I can see is unconditional love. Energy, aliveness.
It's ludicrous that we should be separate. There's something here that's known that. That's why I'm here. Something.
Oh, yeah. That's why, like, the whole thing the whole conversation, right, is that there's a suggestion being made, and there's a curiosity and a sensitivity and an openness to another possibility. And energetically, of course, there's a sense of being an individual who has a question. Because there wouldn't be a meeting otherwise.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a meeting anywhere otherwise. It's just the way it is. So there appears to be then that energetically, there appears to be that question, and there appears to be an answer. But it's just from nothing, and it doesn't matter. But when we speak like this, there's a boundlessness to this. Then there really is. There's a boundlessness to this. It's nothing to do with anybody, and it can just be very obvious. Oh fuck! It's just so simple. It's just so simple. It's just so simple. It's directly, inescapably, whatever is appearing to happen. And then it's game over in the sense that, there's no meeting. It wasn't even a meeting. There's just what's appearing to happen. And then it can, like, so, we're at 20, it's nearly 20 to 7. We have 20 minutes more, blah, 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 blah. And it just can be, and people see, you hear it says, Jesus Christ, there's just what's appearing to happen. It's that fucking simple. Here was me going around thinking, and all the time what was yearned for was just this.
And when we were talking before about cats and dogs and people and so on, like, whenever you look at a person, like, it's just like this story just emerges immediately. here in the dream world, where it gets made up instantly. It just happens like this. I can look at anything and it seems real, but it's non-existent.
I don't say non-existent. The reason I don't say non-existent is it's, the way, like, as a separate individual, it's just kind of this play of opposites, right? So if it's not good, it's bad, and so on. So non-existent, or like from when I first started speaking, that's what I would hear back. So you just said I don't exist. And the funny thing is, I never, ever, ever said you don't. I never said that. And the difficulty with that is everything is nothing and nothing is everything. So it's real and it's unreal. You see, so it's beyond the mind, completely beyond the mind. It's just kind of how I describe it. I'm a little bit weary of, because of that play of, like, it's kind of like the mind will easily go to, okay, I thought everything is real, but everything is just an illusion, and everything is totally unreal. And it's like switching around the opposites again. Like, I spoke once to this guy. He had a food stall in the market, and I think he was Hare Krishna or something, Hare Krishna, I think. And what he said to me was, everything is illusion. Everything is illusion. And I very quickly saw what he was doing. I saw it straight away. I said, it's so lovely what you're doing. Everyone as an individual feels everything is real, solid. And what you've done is you've just flipped around the opposites. You see, everything is a dream. Everything is an illusion. And it was, for me, he was saying the same as when someone says to me, oh, it's real. Everything is real. So it's not, it's nearly worse than that, in the sense that everything is nothing and nothing is everything. It is and it isn't. It's real and it's unreal. I mean, how can you go anywhere? It's impossible. You can't in any way get your head around that. You cannot get your head around it at all.
Nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go with that. And that's what I always loved when I heard whoever, it's probably Tony called it real and unreal, or a few other people. And I just loved it. I loved that straight. Yes, it's real and unreal. It's real and unreal, which just cuts through the dichotomy of the mind, the play of opposites, of the dualistic dream of it's either real or it's unreal. Which is it? Am I or am I not? Do you know what I'm saying? And then this is it's what we're talking about all week is completely unknowable. It's absolutely fucking unknowable. What you're yearning for is not knowable in any way, shape, or form. Once you naturally, as an individual, want to know and have what you feel you're yearning for, because that's your reality, is a loop of knowing. You feel everything is knowable. So of course you want to know it. Of course. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just what's appearing to happen. Just as there's nothing wrong if someone has a million gajillion questions. Who cares? That's what's appearing to happen. Question, no question. Who cares? You know? It's impossible. You cannot go wrong with any of this. It's impossible. Of course it is. There's just what's appearing to happen. And seeing that there's just what's appearing to happen, liberation, is so far beyond what you imagine a thing called liberation to be. There's no comparison. You can't. But as an individual, there would be a concept of liberation in then which what's yearned for is ignored or rejected or overlooked in favor of this concept of liberation. And so the whole thing appears to kind of go round and round. And the simplicity, direct simplicity of just what's yearned for is overlooked, continually overlooked, because of that energetic sense of separation. But it's all embracing, and it never goes anywhere because it's already all there is.
I don't know what to say really. I want to say today's experience, but then this thing, I don't know. It's okay. I don't know how to say it, you know.
It doesn't matter. It
Huh?
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's what okay, so all we appear to be in Vietnam, right? Under the heading of non-duality. I cannot say what this weekend, I cannot say it. There's no sense here that I can say what we're talking about. I can't, it's impossible. But what we can do, I can't say what we're talking about. I can't say it. It's inexpressible. Forget about it. Forget about it. It's inexpressible. No speaker can say it. It's impossible. It's totally and utterly impossible. It's not difficult. It's impossible. Because if it could be said, it would have to be something you could conceptualize. It's yeah. It's something you could have. It's beautifully, gorgeously unknowable, inexpressible, ungraspable.
I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
All I know is everything is, I don't know. Okay. Walk through the door, go to the toilet. Looking at the door, this door seems, I don't know, something about this door. And then at lunchtime, so whole thing is me. Like, not just this thing, not just this. You think you're this thing. You think you're this thing, walking around. No.
Yeah.
And then I walk down to the beach. This bloody fucking thing. It's me. I love this thing. I can't say it. You know, we can say God or whatever, fuck, but and this thing, I love this sign. This sign this sign is alive. This sign is alive. This sign is alive. You look at all these, I don't know, so alive, you know, so alive, you know. But there's a special way of looking at it. If you're the person, you can't see it. You see solid things, different objects. But when I don't know, it's like the whole thing, you know, even you, the whole thing.
No, wait. No, in this statement,
What?
I'm actually real. So I'm not having. I am actually. I'm the only one in here.
What? I don't know. I don't know how to say this, but it's like a movie. It's like a movie. It's like a movie. You believe this is real, but it's a movie. It's kind of like a movie, you know? I don't know. Right?
Well, the story in my head is like B grade soap opera.
But I can't say it because I don't know. Like if I say anything will be wrong. Whatever I say will be wrong, you know, because you're using words. You have to feel this bloody thing. And then somehow this thing and this thing merge together. Merge together. And then this.
Well said, Simon. Yay. Yay, we blew the bus. Well said, Simon. It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. But that's like, in a sense, like, where yeah.
It's love. It's love. It's love. This is love.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. All there is unconditional love.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like in terms of time, right? Like, and then we got sequence, right? So like we seem to be able to understand things in terms of like sequence,
Hmm.
right? Whereas like when time tends to get spoken about, like, you know, we got universal GMT type 1 second count, and it's just a standard like of just coordination, it seems like, you know. And I was trying to grasp like how does that relate? How does that relate? And you know, because you know there is no, well, yeah, that's what we're saying. There's no time, but it's spoken about.
Yeah, like, it's real and unreal. You could look at it that way if you want.
Well,
Everything is nothing and nothing is everything, right?
yeah.
So when you feel real, everything feels just real. Yeah. So time feels absolutely real then. So there's it's causality, time, a linear sense of movement, and one thing happening and
Yeah.
another thing happening feels totally real. Yeah. And it can be seen that it's an appearance.
Yeah.
So it's real and unreal. So it's the unreal. The difficulty when I say it's real and unreal, so the individual say, "Oh, so it is real. Oh, that's fine," but the unreal can't be seen.
Yeah.
So it's not that you feel as an individual it's solid and real because you feel solid and real.
Yeah.
When the sense of you isn't there, time is an appearance.
Yeah.
So it's we have 5 minutes left of the
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
and we'll go and blah blah blah. And it's just something that it's just an appearance. So the solidity is gone out of it, and space is an appearance, and so on.
Yeah, yeah.
In the exact same way then that you feel when you have a life, that things are really happening. When you don't feel you have a life anymore, it's a play of light then.
Yeah, there's a
It's the
sense of
appearance of something
memory.
happening. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's all the same. Everything I just said there is the same. It's all
Y-
the same phenomenon.
Yeah, it's just a sense of memory, right? And like when we talk about time in the sense of now, yeah, like it's just really just a measure of like what's going on beyond line of sight.
Yeah, it's a
that-
function in the story. Like
Yeah.
we feel in this some scientists now call it like an interface. So the interface is from there's a sense of you, and then there's a person over there, and then there's a place here, and then we measure from this place here to that place there. And in that then there's a reality. We call it reality.
Yeah.
That's it feels absolutely real then. And then the time is actually real in that. And then actually the suggestion is it's real in its appearance.
Yeah.
In its appearance.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's just
Just
a
an
way
appearance.
of like measuring like of basically the abstraction.
Yeah.
And then a story appears to arise further from that there is a real story
Yeah.
from that abstraction, and then a person then begins to like say that's real, and then a whole bigger story happens.
Yeah, like for something to be happening, it has to be happening in time and space.
Yeah.
So the sense that we have of
story.
separate individuals is everything is real. This is what's happening. And it has to be, time and space have to be real for it to be really happening. So we feel it is really happening. And then there's a living in the real. Then you turn on the news and this happened in this country and that person did this and this important person said this and this important said that.
Within
and
the
so
story.
the energetically, you will feel it's all real. You'll feel it's all really happening. Of course you will.
Yeah.
And the suggestion is very simple, is that it's a story. Because
The-
you are a story.
The way that I seem to have grasped it at this point is that it's just a signifier of now, what the state of now is, and then people saying you should be doing this at this point, at that point.
Yeah.
And then that's all it is in relation to now. I mean, there is only now, right? I mean,
There's a like, you know, some people talk about like that in the sense of, well, everything is just totally contextual anyway. You know, any knowing would just be contextual and it's gone again. But then we appear to kind of solidify it and make it.
Then story.
It's then made. You see, it's the difference between it feeling like a story and it feeling it's real. It doesn't feel like a story for the individual. The individual doesn't feel like a narrative. You don't see people going around going, oh, the narrative called me or whatever. It's like, no, it's my life, you know, me and my life. What are you talking about, you know?
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. So that's the realness of everything is solid and real. And then when it feels solid and real, there's a question and a yearning because it feels there's something about it being solid and real that it somehow feels that it's not really being seen as it really is. And for some, that yearning is very subtle, and for some, that yearning is very strong and is a bigger question and more of a sensitivity around it. That just something I just can't put my finger on it. You know. I had a friend who I think he took substances. I'm not sure, but he described when he said he was gone, he wasn't there, and he couldn't find himself. And he said the only way he could find himself was to look at the clock and for time to be real again. And he said he felt like he was so scared and he really stared at the clock for ages. And then when time started to feel real again, because he said there was no time and it really unnerved him, and he couldn't feel real, nothing felt real. But then when he could make time real again, suddenly he was real again. And I was like, oh, that's gorgeous. I mean, there's these kind of glimpses. Yeah. Yeah.
I find that what I am experiencing is not really a glimpse. I mean, you can say it's a glimpse, but then it keeps coming, like it keeps staying there.
Yeah, well, yeah. A glimpse is yeah, from the way you're talking, it's just it's impossible to describe, but it's like the newness to everything, and it's not describable, but it seems to be, yeah, and that's the way it is. Yeah.
I mean, I try to see duality again, but I cannot see duality,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's just and it's just what's appearing to us. It's just everything is nothing is everything. And it's yeah. So we're going to go for dinner, guys. So unlucky for the people online, you're going to miss the beautiful food. But you got to come to Vietnam next time. Sorry about the problems there. I think we sorted it pretty quick, but the sound kind of went off there for a minute, didn't it? So just to also say that tomorrow we're not doing 5:30 to 7. We're doing 5 to 6:30. Okay. Tomorrow, yeah. Tuesday. So instead of doing 5:30 to 7, we're just bringing it forward by 30 minutes. We're doing 5 to 6:30 because there's an activity planned for people. Yeah. So around reception. Anyway, I'll put it in. I'll put it on the Patreon. Nice to see people online. Thanks.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Enjoy the dinner.
I will.
Woohoo.